We're at Zion National Park. This specifically is Watchman Campground, and we're at site D as in David 2. I'm gonna introduce you to our site. Follow me, we'll take a look. First, parking. With parking, I mean, there's plenty of parking space where you can get 2 cars, probably 4 cars in here. As you can see, what we did was, this campsite's a little small, so we had our cars parked a little bit closer to the driveway, so we can actually fit another tent behind one of our cars. Our tent is a 6-person tent. Our friend's tent is a 4-person tent. You can tell with these 2 tents, it pretty much takes up the entire campsite. If you're coming here, don't be bringing like a Taj Mahal kind of tent, because they ain't gonna fit. And then over here, we have a little small recreation area. We got our hammock. Our friend Dan brought his old man rocking chair. You do get a good amount of shade, I would say. As you can tell, we have this big tree right here that provides a good amount of shade until it hits about, I would say, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. The sun will be right there, right in the open, and it can get pretty hot. I mean, we're in the first week of October. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I think I have sweat stains right now. Let's continue the tour. First, you get the camp table, fire ring. If you take a look around, you can tell the campsites are actually pretty close to each other. If someone's playing loud music, you most likely hear them. You may also overhear some conversations as well, you know, a little bit of gossip. This is the first time I've been to a campsite where the foliage is actually roped off, which is kind of nice. They're trying to keep it pristine, try to save the plants around us. Another thing that if you're here at this campsite is deer. There are deer signs all over the place. And trust me, these deers, they're bold. I mean, they will come up to you like within 5 feet of distance, and they will go after your food. And they went after our cookies. I have to say, I was really looking forward to those cookies, and they ate those cookies. I hope they have diarrhea. Another thing about this campsite is, it's just, if you look around you, you can just see the mountains. I mean, you're surrounded by mountains. So you wake up, you're just surrounded by this gorgeous view. This campsite is pretty leveled, so whatever you're setting up, like me right here in a hammock, it's really nice. It's just really relaxing right now. Let's go next. We'll check out the bathroom, we'll check out the water situation. We'll show you what that's like. So we're nearby the bathroom, and this is where you wash your dishes. So before you bring your dishes here, it's best that you deposit your food waste in your trash bag. And this is one of those where to get water, you have to keep pressing. It could be a 2-person job to wash dishes. Cool. All right, if you follow me this way, over here on this other side of the bathroom, you also have a water fountain. Pretty nice. If you're staying at D2, very close to the trash can, and very close to the bathroom. 30-second walking distance.
Kind of looks like little mini cathedrals all around this bowl here in the canyon. Kind of gives me like this like quiver in my stomach a little bit. I'm like, ooh. So obviously we're not at our campsite right now. We're in Bryce Canyon, but we figured we would love to have a beautiful background and take a trip out here today for us to give you the review for our campsite. Zion, I have to say this is probably 5 stars for me, which is rare, but it kind of hits all the points for me. Obviously, for me, I want a shower, I want flushing toilets, and I would like to have a mirror and a sink. That would be ideal, but flushing toilets would be the main thing. Not only are there flushing toilets and great restrooms, but the park is pristine. This is probably like the cleanest, most curated campsite I've ever been at. For me, this was a very relaxing trip, especially because not only is it beautiful, but a lot of the campers that were around us were really respectful in regards to like their sound quality. So it was like people would go to bed or at least quiet down by 8:30 p.m. So it just felt like really quiet, really calm, mellow vibes, which is right up my alley. I did all of our meal planning, and I would strongly suggest that. So honestly, all we had to do was heat it up, in a pan, ready to go. So even if you wanted to like all split up as a group, you could just wrap up a sandwich, wrap up a burrito, and like take it in your backpack and go do your independent thing. Some of the things that were really helpful to us to make, the day to day really smooth, we actually purchased our shuttle passes online so that once we were here, we didn't have to worry about going anywhere to purchase those tickets. All we had to do was pull up our email, go straight to the line, and that's going to take you to the Narrows. That's going to take you to Angel's Landing. So that made everything smooth and easy. At Zion, you have like every, you know, convenient thing around you. You've got really nice grocery stores. You have places where you can rent walking sticks, you can rent hiking boots, you can go get coffee. Everything is within either like a 2-minute drive, or even if you wanted to walk in the morning, it's probably like a 15-minute walk. One thing I wish we did know is that actually in the early morning, like 4 a.m., between like 7 or 8 a.m., it's extremely windy at the campsite. So all of our tents were blowing all over. I mean, they didn't completely blow over, but I would suggest putting stakes into your tents.
The landscape is like completely different than what we experience in LA. Some of the mountains, some of the rocks we saw, they're like flakes. They're like pastries. They're like layered sponge cakes. Anybody who comes to Zion, you need to go to the Narrows. The water's a little cold. We're in first week of October. The weather's pretty nice, but you want to make sure that you're prepared. Are you having a good time?
Can you tell?
It's fun. You're gonna get wet. There's a river. They have Zion Outfitters that you can actually rent some walking sticks as well as some neoprene socks and shoes from. If you do wear like tights or something like that, make sure it's moisture wicking and not cotton, because some of the water, it can get up above your hips.
Yeah,
Man, we
it's
are
basically on my upper thigh, which
Yeah.
we all know my legs are the longest part of my body. So
my love has legs for days.
long-legged Laney, as they used to call me.
And if you go further down, it'll get up to your chest. We're gonna hit Angel's Landing, and right now it's actually opened up. The peak is open, so feel free to kind of make your way up top if you're gonna hike Angel's Landing. How you feeling right now?
Awesome, exhilarated, ready for more.
All right, we just got through the wiggle, the wiggle wiggle. Sorry from the bottom, now we're here. Tips from Jamie. Tip number 1, watch out for deer. They will go after your food, and they're very bold about that. Be sure to lock your food away. There are plenty of signs that tells you, but of course you may not know that ahead of time. So have bungee cords, have coolers that you can put a lock on. Tip number 2, it gets super windy at night. If you have a hard time sleeping, earplugs, sound machine, because if you're sleeping in a tent, your tent's gonna be flopping left and right. Tip number 3, this is a national park. Unless you have an annual pass, you want to make sure you have your ticket or your receipt showing proof that you paid for entry at all times. So if you do decide to leave town to take a shower or to buy anything, make sure you have that with you, or else you're gonna have to pay for another one. Tip number 4, now if you want to take a shower, there's one available. It is at Zion Outfitters. It's $4 for 5 minutes. Now that we're back from Zion, I want to go over a few other things I may have missed earlier in this video. Another thing that I really like about the bathrooms at Zion is they actually have a family bathroom. So if you have a baby or a young child, it's really nice to have that other option. What I like also about the Watchman Campground is how close it is to the shuttle stop and also the main entrance of the park. Now, this is something we discovered later, that the Zion Village, where Zion Outfitters are and a bunch of other shops are is within walking distance from Watchman Campground. There's a bridge that kind of carries you over the river. I would say it's only maybe a 5-minute walk from the campground. It's very, very close. If you didn't get a chance to get a shuttle pass, don't worry. You can also rent a bike that's electrically powered to get you to the destination that you want to go. When you're booking your shuttle passes, I highly recommend you booking for earlier time as the crowds get bigger and bigger as the day goes by. By about noon, there was a huge line in front of the shuttle. When we left around 9 o'clock, 10, there was like no line almost. We hiked Angel's Landing on the very last day of our camping trip, so we had to actually drive our cars out of our campground onto public streets. Now, just remember, public parking on the streets is $20 per day. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you think of this video and what other kind of information that you would like to know about Zion National Park. And most importantly, while you're at Zion, have fun!